Welcome to Stately Investing. To all of my new viewers, hello. And to all of my returning subscribers, welcome back. In today's episode, we are going to talk about Acorns as an investment tool, how I use it, and how you should use it too. If you're looking to start a new financial habit for the new year and just get better at saving money along the way, Acorns can be a great tool for you. So we're going to talk about that. And we'll talk about how I use it to generate dividends as well. But first, if you want a channel that's going to help you speed up your journey to financial freedom through dividend growth investing, Stately Investing is the place for you. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications, and let's get started. All right, so we're jumping right in. We are in my Acorns account here, and you can see my total account value. So my account right now is worth $3,358.05. And you can see this is a total lifetime view, right? So this is on the All tab under Performance. And the reason I'm starting off with this perspective is just to give you guys an idea of how quickly things add up, right? So we have gained over 50% of the account in just market gains or through dividends. And so I've gained over $1,000 just by small incremental changes. If we scroll down here, you can actually see the percentage and like how the performance actually breaks out. So you can see that it's broken up into the different sizes of stocks and whether or not they're international. So large company stocks make up the majority of my portfolio at 54%. Small company stocks make up about 6%. Medium company stocks about 11%, and then international company stocks at 30%. And you might be saying, how did you come to these allocations? So actually, this is all set by Acorns. So first, we'll kind of jump back to my contribution history, and you guys can see how Acorns actually works, and then we'll understand how these stock percentages get assigned. Okay, so we are on the home screen here in the Invest home screen, and you can see that when you go into this Invest tab, there's several sections to it. The way that Acorns work is every time that you make a transaction, if you have a card linked to your account, then it will round up your transactions to be an even amount, right? And so we can go into the roundup settings, and you can see that mine are set to automatic. So this means that it automatically happens. So we'll track your spending and add up your roundups for you, so you don't have to worry about it, right? So you can also add a multiplier. So rather than, for example, if you paid 50 cents for something, Acorns would take the additional 50 cents and deposit it into your investment account to round up to $1. Instead of doing that, you could put a multiplier. So if you did 2 times, it would then actually add $1 to your account, or if you did 3, it would add $1.50, so on and so forth. And this can be a way to quickly ramp up your account. So that's how Acorns works in general, but let's jump back and let's look at some actual practical examples. So you can see in my roundups here, this is a history of my roundups, and it even gives you helpful hints, right? So it shows you transactions on your linked cards are rounded up to the whole dollar, and that spare change is invested in your funding source, as I just explained. So Acorns is very educational, right? It's aimed at people who may not, or who may be new to investing. And so it's a really good way to just kind of learn more and to set it and forget it. And that is why I particularly use Acorns, right? This is an account where I know that I can get dividends, but I will actually not have to do anything, right? Like it's literally even more simpler than me just using my M1 account, where I do have to do some setup to begin, and I've even automated that, but this is even simpler than that because it's just basing it off of every transaction that I make for the cards that I've linked. And you don't have to link all of your credit cards. You can link one to start out with, see how it works. I do recommend linking something that you use frequently, so that way more roundups are invested. You can see here that I've invested over 3,035 roundups. So that's just the number of transactions, and you can see the amount that has been invested through roundups. So you can see by date that all of my transactions here are tracked, and it is showing the amount of the roundups here, right? So on January 9th, I purchased something from Olive Garden. It was $52.41. Well, the remainder to get that up to $53 was 59 cents, right? And you can see it kind of goes down the list. And for transactions where it's actually an even number, right? So a round number, I should say, where this was $2 transaction, it actually just adds a whole dollar to that. And so I really like the simplicity of this. So there are a couple things: the simplicity, the automation, and just the fact that it is very educational to those who do not understand investing. So why don't we jump back to my investment screen, and you can see how those allocations got set up by looking at the portfolios. And so when I jump into this portfolio tab, you can see that I am on an aggressive portfolio. An aggressive portfolio, as they have indicated here, is most appropriate for those with longer time horizons, young in age, and a higher risk tolerance. You can jump to the different settings, right? So it goes through conservative, moderately conservative, moderately aggressive, and then aggressive. I tend to go aggressive with a lot of these investment allocations. It depends on what you're using the account for, right? I'm always looking to either get growth directly through share price or through dividends. And the great thing about Acorns is that this actually gives you a fair amount of dividends in the aggressive portfolio. So it's not just about the growth potential of the stocks themselves, right? So like if you look at VOO, that's the 55% allocation. So you can see that these allocations pretty much match up to what was in my portfolio when I first started in the video. So you can see that's how these get set. But if I change to something to conservative, it's actually doing mostly bonds, right? So bonds are going to have a lower return. Again, it shows a lower tolerance for risk. So your investments will stay pretty stable while still giving you some additional growth, which is good if you are, older in lifetime, or you really have a short time horizon, meaning, hey, I'm just putting this money in for a short bit and I know that I'm going to take it out and I don't want to have the risk of me losing too much money. A conservative portfolio would be the best way for you to go about this in Acorns. But I choose aggressive. I used to have this at moderately aggressive. And actually, I think when I had it at moderately aggressive, I actually got more dividends, but by going to aggressive, I've seen more growth. So overall, that's how I ended up at that 50% return value. You can also jump back and see another option to add recurring investment. So recurring investment, you can set this so that, hey, every day or every week or every month, I'm allocating $5, $25, $50, $100 to this. For me personally, I don't have a reoccurring investment in here because I have other tools for that. I have other portfolios for that. You guys are hopefully familiar with my M1 account, where I do my reoccurring investments, and then also for my Robinhood account where I am periodically putting money in to those portfolios where I have more control. So the negatives of Acorn for me are two things. So first, the kind of pools that you have to pick from are limited, right? So if we talk about the portfolio options again, right? So in the aggressive pool, I don't have the ability to alter this in any way. I am forced to, allocate my funds directly in this way, right? And same thing with this option and all of the options, you are kind of forced into one of these options. But again, if you take the perspective, if you're a newcomer as an investor, excuse me. Again, if you take the perspective of a newcomer investor who doesn't know a ton about it and just wants to get started, that is actually a good thing because you can't really screw anything up with these portfolios. And so it gives you quite a few options. And then secondly, the other thing that I think is not necessarily a negative, but something that is a little bit, not positive, right, is the interaction within the application or even on the desktop here. It's sometimes hard to navigate. So when you go back to your home screen, it tries to break it down in ways that make sense to everybody, but in reality, it makes it kind of difficult to set things up or to change things around. So like invest is where most of your activity will be if you're looking about investing. They recently, or not so recently, but have started branching into other areas, right? And I think these are other kind of revenue streams for them. Speaking of which, the kind of last negative I have regarding Acorns is around the fees, right? So they do charge fees, and so you do lose a portion of your returns based on your fees, right? Acorns is not absolutely free in the terms that you would think of in some other applications. But overall, the fees are very, very minimal. And, it doesn't really have a large impact on your returns, but it can over time make a difference. So let's jump back to the home screen again, and then you guys can see my view potential, right? And this is one of the most exciting parts is that, hey, look, if I'm doing what I'm doing now and I wanted to take out all of my money at age 54, this is about how much I would be able to take out, right? So $17,212, which is quite a bit up from 3,000, right? And the slider will actually allow you to change that age. So if we went all the way to kind of the max here at age 69, I would be able to take out $50,000, right? And that's quite a bit considering this is just rounding up. And it shows you, hey, this would be from around $14,000, almost $15,000 from investment and $36,000 in returns. So overall, I think Acorns, I would highly recommend it to all of my my viewers out here who are new to investing and want to learn a little bit more and get started, but not necessarily want to overcomplicate their lives with having to monitor their accounts and monitoring all of their stock purchases. I think Acorns is a great way to do it. I would recommend trying out with one card at first and then adding any additional cards that you have after you've gotten used to how it works and after you got things set up properly. So yes, comes highly recommended, and I will put a link down below for you guys to actually click my referral link. If you help sign up additional members into Acorns, you actually get a bonus into your Acorns account. So with each referral code and each referral sign up, you get somewhat of a bonus, right? So it kind of helps to spread the word through word of mouth or through word of internet as it is. But overall, I recommend it. It's just another mechanism to how I generate dividends. And I really appreciate all of the views out there. Leave a comment below if you use Acorns, the things you like about it, what you don't like about it. We'd love to know more about it and hear from you. So stay tuned. I will be back next week, and have a good, safe week out there.